expanded to other universities. So as you remember, Facebook was it was a college only app at first. That it started on it was in Harvard at first, right? And it was like a dating app and whatnot. And then it began to grow and it spread to other campuses, and then it basically became social. I remember I had to get a college email from my sister in order to sign up because you could only get in there with a college email, right? So when Peter Thiel is brought into the equation, this is when it raises eyebrows because this is when you begin to ask questions. This was hidden. This is not a known fact, ladies and gentlemen, that the same person behind PayPal, this maniac, was the early founder or early funder. Because an early funder to the tune of 500,000, you're basically an early founder. His initial investment got him 10% stake in FB. He was a board member up until 2014. Okay. So he's the first outside investor in Facebook in '04, one of the first. So Peter Thiel, all of that Palantir, the crazy, if you ever looked into Peter Thiel, you don't even have to go far. The LBGT, far right, you know, technocratic maniac, aka Mr. Thiel, who's an anagram for the reptile. He has his hands all in this quote unquote Fed book. Okay. DARPA, Facebook, and network research connections. Okay. So we have the DARPA, Facebook, and network research connections. So DARPA, of course, all right. And then you have the social graph analysis. Okay. Network research, and then Facebook as a distributed system modeling. Okay. So they basically put together this whole entire system of how to take information, how to crunch data, and how to begin to categorize the citizens and basically put them in all of these, and then how to manipulate their behaviors, right? So once again, Harvard was just a hotbed for a lot of scientific research. It was a hotbed for a lot of funding. It was a hotbed for them taking these white papers and mixing in a lot of the research, a lot of and then marrying that with the funding, and then launching shell companies, putting it out in the public, and then here we are, right? Here we are with all of these quote unquote Silicon Valley startups, masquerading as unicorn companies, but at the same time, come to find out that they were plants. These government grants that they're getting, all of this money that they're getting, the round A, B, and C's, all of that is dealing with quote unquote. That's all contrived. These are industry plants. Okay. And coincidentally enough, when you start digging a little bit deep, right, this name always pops up whenever there's dealing with some type of evilness in the world. You don't even have to dig deep to hit the Epstein rock. So coincidentally enough, along with Peter Thiel, who was around Harvard around the same time that our good brother Mark Zuckerberg decided to launch Facebook, we also find our good friend Jeffrey Epstein is also at Harvard around the same time. Jeffrey Epstein is he's getting real cozy with the scientist by the name of Martin Nowak. Martin Nowak is very, very popular in the Harvard circles and just in quote unquote, in all of those circles, period, because he was studying and writing books on cooperation theory and network dynamics. Now, cooperation theory is dealing with how to make humans behave. You know what I mean? The cooperation theories that humans cooperate based off of their social networks and things of that nature, right? They were dealing with evolutionary dynamics and game theory. So what Epstein would do is he would utilize his funding that now we found out was coming from the Rothschilds, and he would basically fund he would fund these scientists to the tune of 20 million with Novak, right? So they were embarking upon the research to find out how you could use social media to control the behaviors of humans, and also how to predict the behaviors of humans, and also how to manipulate. So this was a high level of social engineering, and Jeffrey is responsible for what you see in Facebook right now. But let's go down this rabbit hole, because Martin Nowak he's the key. He's the one that, once you realize what he was able to discover and what he was able to implement, then you see how all of that works together, right? Game theory and social networks, the mathematical modeling of social interactions, right? So when you get into game theory, right, social networks transform game theory, and game theory reveals the hidden rules of digital society. So they've been able to map digital society, the digital economics landscape. They've been able to match this digital world by doing what? Studying the game theory. Henceforth, why the professor, he's going viral, right? Because he's able to figure everything that's going on by doing what? By applying game theory to it. Professor Zhang, right? He's popping on the internet because he's applying game theory to geopolitical geopolitics and the shit that's going on right now, right? So you have all of these different models that they're implementing, right? Utilizing game theory. So you have the prisoner dilemma applications applied to trust formation, content sharing, and moderation decisions and network behavior. You have cooperation versus competition, emergent balance in digital platforms, reputation systems, algorithmic ranking, and user incentives. Then you have the network effect theory, user engagement scales non-linearly, critical mass, virality thresholds, and platform lock-in dynamics. Strategic behavior modeling, right? So they know how to basically manipulate people's behavior based off of them studying social media, social networks, and applying game theory to it. Okay, mathematical foundations, payoff metrics, evolutionary stable strategies, and graph theoretic equilibrium analysis. So, Facebook algorithm development, right? It was very important. The algorithm was being developed by Novak. Novak was the one who was developing the algorithm. Novak was being funded by Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so this whole algorithm that started to there's a lawsuit going on right now where a father, I believe, is suing one of these tech companies. I believe it was Gemini, because the AI convinced his son to basically unalive himself. Okay, so it's gotten all the way to the point where people are being convinced by AI chatbots to unalive themselves. But in 2016, young girls were unaliving themselves without chatbots in the room. They were just feeling, unpretty and unliked, and they were being bullied, cyberbullying and stuff like that. These weird scientists, these evil geniuses, are the ones that are behind a lot of this stuff. Okay. News feed ranking engine prioritizes posts using engagement signals, recency, and social proximity, dynamic re-ranking every 90 seconds. Content distribution architecture, multi-tier delivery logic, global amplification, community filtering, and personalized cascade triggers. Now, if anybody remembers Cambridge Analytica, right? Cambridge Analytica was a story. It was like a bombshell story that basically exposed that they were using a company in the UK named Cambridge Analytica. They were utilizing big batches of information to basically target potential voters and whatnot during the first Trump presidency. I believe this was 2016 and whatnot. And Cambridge Analytica was showing the world, right? It was really just showing the world how you could create dissent, how you could manipulate people's minds by utilizing all of this data that they were gathering on Facebook. Okay. So Cambridge Analytica, it really taught people how to manipulate social. It wasn't really a bomb. It didn't stop anything. It actually made it blow up. Network analysis and social engineering, social network mapping and influence modeling. So all of this stuff that you see right here, this is all Novak's research. Okay. This was all coming out of the lab. They Jeffrey Epstein had a lab at Harvard with a key. They gave him it wasn't on Harvard campus, it was right off of the campus, but he basically gave him a key. He had access to these labs. This was after he was arrested. This was after he was basically did time and everything, and he still had access to this campus, to these labs, to these scientists, to the quote unquote to the structure. You know, these were all of the things that Jeffrey was into over there at Harvard and at MIT and other places, Stanford. All of that is one big network. So they were studying social analysis and social engineering. He was studying biohacking and human enhancement research. Rumor has it that Jeffrey has his DNA in all of the vaccines. Okay. He has his DNA in the vaccines and whatnot. So he was studying longevity research, neural interface. They were studying all type of shit, transhumanism, right? So the rabbit hole goes deep when they try to only speak about the surface level, the low hanging fruit, him being him procuring young women. It goes way deeper than that. It goes way deeper than that. It is an insult to your intelligence if they just keep it surface level. Oh, do you know he was eating people? Do you know he's cloning people? Do you know that they were cloning people? Like, you know, the eating people, yeah, you lock somebody up. But what about the cloning thing? What about them injecting his DNA in the virus in the damn vaccination? What about that? What about the fact that they were behind the manipulation of social media and they're controlling people to this day? What about that? Okay. Epstein and the AI elite discussion. So Epstein had he procured a conference in the Virgin Islands, right? In the early 2000s, where he flew out all of these heavy hitters and whatnot in the AI space. And basically they were doing what? They were having a discovery and whatnot. It was almost like a hackathon in a way, right? But this is where they discussed the next 10 years. This is where a lot of the funding started coming in. This is where people were able to, you know, separate the mice from the men. Who was willing to go this far? Who was willing to work for the machine? Who was willing to put in that work? And that's exactly what happened. Okay. So he was tied to the academic and the scientific institutions, right? All of that is in the emails. He was tied into the research funding and the scientific endeavors, right? He was tied into the influential networks of media, academia, philanthropy, finance, all of these different people all tied into one. They call it the cathedral, right? It's a one big system and shit. Ongoing investigations and information gaps, multiple federal and internet, right? So yeah, that's Jeffrey and his fingerprints all up in DARPA. I mean, all up in Meta or Facebook and Harvard.
And it's so interesting that you even use the wording fingerprint because and somebody else, I forgot who it was, please forgive me, I had already mentioned the National Security Agency, NSA. But yeah, what they're doing, and this is all after 9/11, the Patriot Act, New York Stand Up, what they did was started to create digital fingerprints through the, you're good, through these surveillance technologies, Siri, like now in the world we live in now, when you get arrested, they'll go through your Google search history to see what you were searching. to
Facts.
to
They go through the search all through your digital footprints.
Digital footprint, digital fingerprint, all facts. Yes, sir. Next slide. So let me see, I make this bigger on my side. Yes, the Patriot Act expands the US government's legal authority to conduct surveillance on people inside the United States, including US, what does that say? U.S. citizens and permanent residents. Here's the key provisions directly. Now, of course, I'm not going through all of this mumbo jumbo, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it is very much legal after the whole 9/11 false flag, where they can use this DARPA technology. Remember, this is non-violent technology to act in a way that secures um, their thirst for knowledge. And they're not trying to find out how hot the sun is or anything like that. They want to know what you doing. But I digress. Next slide. So yeah, as I was saying, Siri. Hey Siri. No, hey DARPA. Next slide. This is all under the guise Apple Intelligence. DARPA is cosplaying as Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence. Just call it DARPA.
Right.
Broader influences on Apple's technologies. DARPA's investment in foundational technologies have indirectly shaped Apple's hardware and software, though not through direct adoption beyond Siri. GPS and location services, while primarily Navy funded, DARPA contributed an early satellite and navigation precursor that enable iPhone mapping and apps. Oh, crumb, they might be following you. The only thing you said, brothers and sisters, that I disagree with is might. Ain't no they might be. Crumb, I might. Well, they on the Epstein list. Don't worry about that, because you on the DARPA list. Crumb, the Epstein list. Let's talk about the list that you on. You're on the DARPA list. Internet and networking. We talked about DARPA's ARPANET, which was the precursor to the internet. AI and machine learning. Oh, Crumb, we just got AI. DARPA been had AI. Just to go over what they had, DARPA's long-term push into adoptive AI influenced broader fields that Apple draws from for features like Face ID. Family, I don't use that Face ID. I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I knew that was sketchy. Photo recognition, though these are not direct project handoffs. And again, we only know 1% of what DARPA's doing. Whatever is really going on is still, we're not going to find that out for 20 years down the line. Did you know in 2026 they did what?
Right.
We just now finding out about the cell phones. Shout out to my sister Charlie Brown. I see she's in here. Thank you for tapping in, sis. This invisible hand, that's what it is. A Masonic invisible. Oh, Crumb, you know about the hidden hand? DARPA. Anyway, well, obviously that was before DARPA, but DARPA is just continuation of this Masonic hidden hand. The invisible hand of a government's R&D, research and development, taking high-risk bets that private firms like Apple later scale. Oh, Crumb, you were so extreme when you said they were a shell company. No, family. No, that's not extreme at all. That's all wise, right, and exact. Highlights DARPA's role in Silicon Valley's growth. Family, Silicon Valley is natural private industry. Fine, I'm not going to argue that with anybody. But DARPA was the infamil. DARPA was the formula in the baby bottle. Formula One, NASCAR, that grew Silicon Valley to what you know today.
Facts.
And Apple was a key beneficiary. So yes, Apple is a shell company of DARPA. That's all wise, right, and exact. As of 2025, discussions around DARPA's influence emphasized its seed funding for AI blooms that propelled companies like Apple to $1 trillion valuation. Apple, Amazon, Facebook, these are all shell companies for DARPA. T-Mobile, all of them, the whole gang, Verizon. Crumb, I ain't know about DARPA. Yeah, you kind of did. It was just kind of, cosplaying as privatized companies. Siri's DARPA heritage continues to evolve within Apple's ecosystem, powering features across iOS, HomePod, and other devices, though Apple has heavily customized and expanded it independently. Shell company. We can move on if you don't have anything to add. Next slide, please. So, I be on the internet asking, and I don't ask questions. I used to ask questions. Now me and the internet me and AI be arguing. So I typed in something and the thing got mad at me, but I screenshotted it anyway. This is partially true in terms of foundational technology, but false regarding the final product. Whatever. Who cares, right? The origins, DARPA, technology behind the modern. Oh, yeah, I asked, didn't DARPA create Alexa? Well, technically, no, they didn't. Yes, they did. The technology behind the modern virtual assistant like Alexa or Siri originated in DARPA. Hey, Alexa. Now remember, if the government said we're going to put an AI recording machine in your house, and anytime you want to know something, you ask the United States government of DARPA, you would you would automatically say no. But if we're going to, because remember, America is an experiment. Yeah, Obama went to Harvard and Obama received his handler at Harvard. Obama's handler was Michelle.
Yikes.
Assigned to him by an attorney, the same attorney firm that the attorney firm for Monsanto. That's why when Barack became president, Michelle Obama was the leader of health and wellness for school lunches, all brought to you by Monsanto.
Brought to you by Monsanto. Terminator seeds.
So yeah, if the government came to your house with the full fatigues on, the G.I. Jane buzz cut, the automatic whatevers, and said, hey, put these government DARPA machines in your house so we can listen to you, and you got a question you can ask us, and we got a camera so we can just kind of pull in the visuals from your house and anytime we want, obviously you would say no. But if we dress it up, because remember, the United States of America is a social experiment from the old world, which is technically the new world, but I don't want to get into that. The old world, Europe, then you would obviously say, no, I'm not going to have you guys, listening to me and watching me. But through DARPA, through ARPA, through Amazon, through Facebook,
through Jeff Bezos. Right.
Reading my mind. Now you've accepted these military operations. And I was kind of had the same thing with the next slide as well. Hey, we're the government. We're one of the Department of Defense liaisons, frontmen, face people, and we want you to put this DARPA technology in your home. Here, take this cell phone.
Put these trackers in the crib for us, please.
But yeah, autonomous machines. I just want to go down memory lane a little bit, if that's okay, brother.
Yes. Let's go down memory lane.
Next slide. So this was the narrative, and as always, Red doesn't miss. He was talking to us about DEI. Remember when they blamed DEI on the deadly DC crash of the Black
helicopter, the Black Hawk, Black Hawk down.
Black Hawk down.
Mm-hmm.
I know we all remember that. That was the narrative. But this is the clue. A few minutes before landing, air traffic controllers asked the arriving commercial jet if it could land on a shorter runway, runway 33. 33, huh? I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I think they might be dropping a little clue on us. Runway 33 at Reagan National over in Washington, D.C. All the family out there stand up. And the pilot said they were able. Controllers then cleared the plane to land on runway 33. And this is, they always drop these Masonic clues. Never forget, they faked Epstein's death when he was 66. Never forget, Epstein's co-conspirator, Prince Andrew, was locked up on his 66th birthday. Prince Andrew was locked up 666 days after Europe had that bloody white horse running through the streets. Family, if you are under the influence that gematria, I forgot the other name for gematria, it is true. Can I get a 000? Maybe the Crumb TV family, if anybody else is comfortable with that, 000 family. These numbers, this number situation is all wise, right, and exact. But anyway, this is the truth. Can we just drop the bomb on what the truth really is about this?
Facts.
Next slide. Sikorsky, a Lockheed Martin company, and the defense and DARPA have developed an autonomous flight system for the U.S. Army's Black Hawk helicopter. The system called Matrix, can it get any more obvious? 33 and the Matrix, okay. Can it get any more obvious? Is designed to improve the safety, reliability, and efficiency of the aircraft. They weren't even there was a Black Hawk Down situation. The chopper is a false flag, and it was actually an autonomous vehicle from DARPA. DARPA was running that thing. That plane that crashed into the helicopter was supposed to land on runway 33. They always be dropping these little slick little clues. Get to the chopper! Get to the chopper! Tony, get the Jaeger! Get to the chopper! Human blood? Human blood, okay. Okay.
Right, of all things that they put on the copter, they're going to put a box of human blood.
But you can stop it now. You basically get the point. Next slide. So yeah, this is the solution. They want to revoke our autonomy. Crumb, that's crazy. Go back to COVID-19. When they told your ass you couldn't come out the house, you couldn't run your little small businesses, you had to stand 6 feet away from everybody else, you had to put the little mask on and all that situation. Go back to then if you don't believe they want to revoke your rights. But listen, I'm not talking to the listening audience because you guys already know. I'm talking to the family who is that's not for real. Family, believe me now, understand me later. They want to revoke our autonomy and give it to robots. Now, this is according to the World Economic Forum. They write history 10 years before it happens. Remember back in 2026 when Red and Crumb was saying, now look at it. How autonomous aircrafts could make flying safer, easier to access, and more sustainable. One more question. My apologies, brother. Did you see the movie I Am Robot?
I did.
Or I'm sorry. I Robot.
I Robot, yep. And I Am
Will
Legend.
Smith had to drive that car, and it was like, you drove the car yourself. That's dangerous. You should have let the right. My sister Ellis knows says I didn't obey.
Right.
Because they had everybody obeying. Whoever you were doing covert is who you really are. Whoever you were during the pandemic, that's who you are.
Super facts.
We are not the sheeple, the listening audience, and those who are going to catch this later. We are not the sheeple. So yeah, they were doing all of that because they wanted to implement more DARPA technology in the form of autonomous robots. Autonomous planes could become a significant part of the aviation industry in the future. You don't say. This could improve safety, efficiency, and accessibility. Also, it could take our rights away. What's happening now? Semi-autonomous aircrafts. Now, listen, family, don't get me wrong. I like cruise control, but no, I don't want this robot. I used to watch the Jetsons, but no, the robots weren't running things. The Jetsons were. The autopilot situation, nah, I got to be able to hit cancel or alt control delete or something to where I can take control.
Yeah, that's too much control. Shit.
So with DARPA, they play by the same rules all the time. And I'm preaching to the choir. I'm not even preaching to the people in the pulpit. I'm sorry, the people in the pews. I'm preaching to the choir. We all know the Hegelian dialect, the problem, the reaction, the solution. Oh, Crumb, did you see about Black Chopper down? We need these autonomous robots because air traffic control and DEI. Man, that's the narrative. That's the narrative to give up your rights.
Super facts.
Super facts. The end game is to rule over the people with technology. This is called technocracy. Oh, Crumb, this is a democracy. This is a technocracy. According to the World Economic Forum, our alliance is creating smart city governance. You know what it means to govern somebody? AI Governance Alliance. We're going to govern you. Family, it was me. I'm going back down memory lane. Me, Red, and KD Arts degree at the launch of 5G. We told you about technocracy and AI Governance Alliance. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And now we are a couple steps closer. Yes, Elon Musk's maternal grandfather, Josh somebody, was a prominent figure in technocracy movement in Canada. I'm joking, Canada.
I think I could be. Let me see. Is Kanye's trainer, is his last name Hadelman, and was he from Canada as well? The
Stop it.
trainer who slipped him the elephant juice. But let's continue with this. A lot of people are not familiar with Elon's grandfather. Similar to what you just pointed out with Jeff Bezos, his grandfather. Like I said, these are all industry plants. These are nepo babies, faking like they did some shit out the garage, like they got it out the mud.
Faking like they got it out. Started from the bottom. No, you did not. You're a plant.
Okay, it's Harley Pasternak. Okay, all right, my bad. Let us
Bryce,
continue.
keep us honest. And family, just to let you know, that's the difference between me, Red, and the rest of these people out here. When you come over here with us, you add value. You keep us honest. On them other platforms, these people, remember, these people on the internet are narcissists. They're never wrong. You
Oh, they would
can't
have
add
stood on
value.
that. Yeah, they'd have pushed that.
Right.
They'd have been like, I had him, man. That the great grandfather, the man that gave the Kanye the juice. No, man. I knew he was working with Elon. And then Elon know the Kanye, and then they had Northwest and North and West. You know what I'm saying? All of that stupid shit. But yeah, let us
And
continue.
so just like Def Crazo was a plant, Elon Musk is a plant. He didn't have these ideas. He didn't create this stuff himself. They put him in position. And just like Facebook, Fakebook, just like Amazon, just like Apple and iPhone, those are shell companies. All of Elon Musk companies are shell companies. His grandfather was a technocrat who said in the future we will rule using technology. Let me just go to bullet number one real quick. A leader in technocracy. Haldeman was a leader of the technocracy movement in Saskatchewan, Canada, which advocated for replacing politicians. Don't worry about Republicans or a Democrat. Worry about a technocrat. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Jakub Greenberg, Mark Zuckerberg. These are your technocrats. Movement which advocated for replacing politicians and democratic government with a system run by engineers and experts. Last point. Convicted and jailed? Excuse me? In 1940, the Canadian government banned Technocracy Incorporated because it was considered a subversive organization aiming to overthrow the government. You think the Epstein files are by chance? Family, if they didn't want you to know about Epstein, they wouldn't play it on the TV. It wouldn't run on nightly news. It would be silenced and shadow banned and silenced like I was.
Right.
Crumb TV was saying too much and they shut me down. If I would have, I remember one time I said something about somebody and they shut me down quick. The only reason they let you know about Pizzagate, which was on a Democratic side, and the Epstein Gate on the Republican side, is because there is no more red, there is no more blue. Pardon me, I'm talking government.
I got
There
you.
is no more Democrat and Republican. Those things are going to be dinosaurs, things of the past.
Oh yeah,
Now,
they dissolving that.
they're going to dissolve that,
Yeah,
and
that
just like
bipartisan shit.
that bipartisan stuff, it's going to. Oh yeah, two wings of the same bird, right? And that bird is technocracy. And they said it in 1940. Haldeman was
Right.
arrested and convicted for his involvement. That's Elon's legacy.
Well, that legacy crystallized in the inauguration of Donald Trump when he brought all of the technocrats out to basically, at the inauguration, they were right there in the front row. The Indian dude from Google, Elon, all of them. Then they've had dinner. They went to go see King Charles. He brought all of the technocrats to go see King Charles and have dinner. But I think Andrew was in that bitch too with them. I don't know. But yeah, um that's the rollout has already taken place. The rollout has definitely taken place. The
Crunk,
trillionaire
you
class.
you sound crazy. You just don't want to give nobody they flowers. Well, SpaceX's long-term relationship. A lot of family don't know about long-term relationships. Shout out, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Long-term relationship with DARPA. Here's an overview. SpaceX, founded by Elon Musk in '02, has maintained a deep, enduring partnership with DARPA since
Dude.
its earliest days. A1 since day one. Amen, church. Last sentence. The total DoD funding for SpaceX exceeds 17 billion. There would be no SpaceX without DARPA funding. Remember, Amazon operated in the red, no pun intended. Amazon operated in the red for 10 years.
Mm.
Amazon didn't make one brown Abe Lincoln for 10 years. Never forget that. How the hell does a company survive for 10 years and not make a penny? SpaceX didn't. Oh, well, he's just a smart autistic dude and he just had, the brains to make it happen. Nah, that was DARPA funding. Through DARPA's slice is smaller but foundational. Just a little small loan of 5 billion. Who's counting, right?
Hmm.
Anyway.
Let us continue.
This is according to context. Remember, context is king. Smart cities failed because remember, this AI governance. They're going to govern you through these cities you live in. You don't have to worry about the police monitoring your speed. Your speed is going to be monitored by the red light, yellow light, the light signal.
Right.
Sentient cities are coming next.
They
Does
just
anybody
made
know
the
what?
announcement in Saudi Arabia that they were canceling that 15-minute city and turning that bitch into data centers. Remember this called the line in the Saudi prince with all of that blood on his hands. They was like, yeah, we're building a smart city in the desert. Well, they scrapped that today and they was like, that's gonna be data centers. Data centers are gonna be the new quote unquote ice facilities in a sense because people are going to be those data centers are going to have Neuralink chargers the same way that they charge a Tesla. They're going to have niggas lined up, you know what I'm talking about? And they're going to have them Neuralinks feeding that data center cuz the new data is they're going to be merging silicone with carbon, you know.
Damn, Gina.
So let's move forward to the next slide.
Trump launched this on me and Red is like Batman and Robin. Of course, I'm Robin. I'm your humble brother. But me and Red is like Batman and Robin. He told you Trump walked you in the door. So I was talking to AI because we be arguing. So I said, did Trump launch this whole AI situation on day one? AI said, yeah. On his first full day in office, Trump, Teflon Don, announced a private sector initiative, because these are shell companies,
Yeah.
dubbed Stargate. I didn't catch that part in the midst of the Epstein stuff, in the midst of SpaceX, in the midst of the Space Force, dubbed
Right.
Stargate, with plans to invest a meager, a little small business loan, 500 billy, a billy, a billy, a
A
billy, a
Billy, a
billy,
Billy.
a
Yeah, they had the
500,
caucasity to say that.
the caucasity,
It's crazy.
500 billion in AI structure. That's on day one. OpenAI, Oracle, SoftBank, all focuses on building data centers. Didn't Red try to tell you? I feel like my daddy. I remember my daddy used to beat me. Didn't I tell you? Didn't Red tell you about these data centers?
And the interesting thing about Stargate is that has also stalled. Nvidia just made an announcement today that they're no longer cutting any checks to OpenAI. OpenAI is getting a lot of pushback because they are basically in bed with the government. So there's a humongous campaign to unfollow and to unsubscribe from ChatGPT. People are literally, you know, deplatforming and throwing them in the garbage. They're getting rid of that. So I really don't even think, especially what's going on with Iran and them turning up in Saudi, because the Saudi Arabia was one of the main backers. That was one of the main banks that was going to get behind all of these data centers and to just pump that bubble and whatnot. But with this provocation, with the Saudis pulling away from America now because America showed them that they not holding them down, all that shit is finna collapse. That bubble is gonna bust. You know, that bubble is gonna burst. SoftBank, they out of Japan, and they getting Nvidia is basically getting weak in the knees, and I think that that is going to make SoftBank back out as well. So, just a little update on Stargate.
Mm, gratitude.
Let's
Next
wait a
slide whenever
minute.
you're ready.
All right.
Peter Thiel. Thiel is heavily involved in the development of smart cities. This is the technocrat governance, the AI governance, or more accurately, startup cities and network states, which are designed to operate with minimal regulation. What do you mean minimal regulation? Like the government won't be able to go in there and tell them what to do? Yeah, that's minimal regulation.
Yeah,
They won't
basically,
be.
yeah. You know, even if some of those smart cities are on the water, you know, like how Epstein and them, they were moving around utilizing maritime. They were on those yachts and whatnot. So the laws don't apply the same as they do on the land. But there's an excellent book called Network States. An Indian dude wrote it. An Indian tech dude wrote it. So yeah, they're using these multi nodes to build out. You know, there's a whole bunch of cities that are being built out that are kind of like sovereign cities and standalone cities and whatnot. You know, so they're using those models in order to create these uh startup cities, these smart cities.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk has a city right there on the water at the very bottom of Texas. At the very bottom of Texas is where Elon Musk plans to start his new city.
Right, where he
Um,
launches the rockets from.
yes, Osiris is all wise, right, and exact. Hawaii, remember, Hawaii had those fires. Jamaica had that storm. They're going to build up these cities, and when they rebuild them, they're going to be smart cities.
Factory.
Big facts, factory.
Fact-
But yeah, which are designed to operate with minimal regulation and high technology to foster, as he describes it, this is Peter Thiel talking, not me, new spaces for freedom. See, I don't like when these people who are hell bent on slavery start talking about free. Get in
Freedom,
this cake.
right. The
freedom.
fuck? Run.
Right.
Right. Run. Nigga said
His
freedom.
approach focuses on creating sovereign and semi autonomous technology driven communities that often feature AI driven governance, cryptocurrency, and low taxes. Yeah, I seen something like that before. It was called iRobot.
Yeah, that was called the resistance. That was called Ready Player One, my niggas.
Thank you. the, the whole chemtrail situation, I wanted to ask the fan. We already did 000. Press 111 if you've even seen a chemtrail, or at the very least, you've heard of chemtrails. If you've seen or heard of chemtrails, please tap in with the 111. So, for the longest time, everybody said they were conspiracy theories. Oh, chemtrails, you guys are drinking the Kool Aid and you tinfoil hat people, blah, blah, blah. RFK Jr. goes full tinfoil hat, pledges to stop chemtrails in latest Dr. Phil interview. Excuse me? I thought it was a conspiracy theory.
So raspy.
Shout out to the family. Listen, we haven't even gotten to the pews. Church ain't even in session yet. We preaching to the choir. Amen, church.
Amen.
You go to the next slide. I think it's the video.
My biggest concern is the stratospheric aerosol injections that are continuously peppered on us every day. Bromium, aluminum, strontium, it's sprayed in our skies all day long. And I know you've talked to Dane Wigington about this. He seems to be one of the experts in the field.
Is there a question?
Yes. How do we
Damn.
stop it?
That is not happening in my agency. You know, we don't do that. It's done, we think, by DARPA. And a lot of it now is coming out of the jet fuel.
Yes,
So, you know, those materials are put in jet fuel. I'm going to do everything in my power to stop it. We're bringing on somebody who's going to think only about that, find out who's doing it, and holding them accountable.
Man.
I thought it was a conspiracy theory, Red.
You feel me? Yeah, man. The great rat instead of the great Gatsby, the great raspy. Listen. I love what we over here doing. You know what I'm talking about? We in the kitchen, cooking up in the ghost kitchen. But we do have to do a part 2. We do have to definitely do a part 2. I have obligations for the 5th session of my private class, and that's coming up around 8. So I gotta prepare for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have about 40 to 50 more slides. We're just getting warmed up, and I hate to land a plane mid-flight like that. But you know, I want y'all to take this information and go bite off of this plate right here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is a neck bone right here. Like crunch it down, unpack it, do the due diligence, do the deep dive on DARPA. Let's get, you know what I mean? Let's get familiar with that agency. Let's get familiar with ARPA. Let's get familiar with CERN being behind the creation of the internet. You feel me? And we're gonna keep cooking. Let them know where they can find you, Crumb, on FB, conveniently. And what are the plans for where you'll be showing up next, and also remind them of the kickball.
Yes, I am your humble brother Crumb, the master student, not the master teacher. I stand on the shoulders of the teachers. I am on Instagram, and we don't do following. We're going in the same direction. That's a big difference. So give me a Grammy, Crumb _ Snatcher _ I'm 40,000 strong, several viral videos, whatever the case may be. The numbers don't matter, just to let you know that I'm established. I'm also on Fakebook, but you might know it better as Facebook. Crumb TV. You can go over there. You'll see I'm almost at 250,000. So I think the videos are averaging like 50,000. And I'm also on 2 Raw for TV ever since I got kicked. I'm sorry, I'm on Patreon. I'm on Patreon. You can check me over there. And I'm also on Two Offer TV. That's why I go live at. I can go over there and I can say anything I want. And I don't be cursing, but I be saying some profane language, which is not cursing, but you'll hear it. So you can check me out. Also, family, I just want to kind of give you guys a really quick update on Conscious Kickball. If I could close out real quick with this one.
Yes, please.
So you could just share the screen for me real quick. Now, while he's sharing the screen, I do want to say this, family. I do want to say this. This is not written in stone. We're still hashing it out. But I might have Red Pill as my coach. My team is really going to be Red's team. Again, I stand on the shoulders of the ones who came before me, you know, who have my back. 404 is the zip code for Atlanta, Georgia. If you know, you know. So on 404 day, which is a big day outside of what I'm doing, there'll be lots of stuff going on in the city that day. But 404, I will be doing a kickball event. Is my team or Red's team versus Too Raw for TV, Palmetto's team. Ugly Money Nietzsche, he has a huge following. He's going to be the coach that day. We got like maybe if you scan this barcode in the top right hand corner, you can either become a player or you can just attend the event. So if you want to become a player, there's like maybe 2 slots left. If you become a player, family, my only request is you join my team. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, you can tap in. You can be a player, you can be a sponsor, you can be a vendor, you can be just a part of the audience. We're going to be at East Lake Park, 2617 Memorial Drive, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia. ATL Shorty, stand up. I'm your humble brother, Crumb. I want to leave you the exact same way I came to you. In peace.
You already. All right, family. You heard it here first. All right. Let's tap into that kickball tournament, and we'll give you the updates as to how that thing will be going on 4/4. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, part 2 is on the way for DARPA Decoded. This is just a warm-up. Please show us some love in the comment section. Leave your thoughts, leave some research, add on to what the build is and whatnot. And like I said, we will be back. All right. So look out for us. Peace, love, and light to the family. We're gonna end this one with theta waves. All right. Peace. Crumb. Excellent directing. You know what I mean? This is Crumb's work right here, y'all. Check it out. Tap in with the God. You still doing videos? For the low?
Well, let me say this. Only on Know the Ledge Media, family. My apologies. You can find me here. You can find me there. But you're going to find me on Know the Ledge. That's where you're going to find me at.
That part. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, and light. All right. 1.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields. And interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube. And fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch storage type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like porch lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Blast.